Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. This is video number 2 on the Honda SL70 that I started building when the buyer backed out. I had a project that I had rolled out and then made arrangements for a buyer and he didn't show up. So instead of rolling it back into storage, I rolled it up onto the workbench and we started cleaning it up and rebuilding the bike. And there's one video on it so far. That video left off. I don't think I had any of the tins on it, the fenders or the headlight or anything like that. We've got pretty much everything buttoned up. Paint's not perfect, and I'll get to that in a second when we move over to the workbench, but it's not looking too bad. Got the engine installed, wiring harness, got all the stuff kind of buttoned up here around the battery box and secured and so forth. The seat we're going to put on it. Bike's not going to look too bad. The paint, let's talk about the paint. I'm not a painter, and I rattle can everything if you've watched. The paint's got a couple runs in it. I worked and worked and worked. I've got them looking decent enough. I don't know if it's really going to show up. The paint looks good enough for me. Here's what I ran into. I typically use this right here, this Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch 2X Ultra Cover paint and primer. It's a gloss, get a glare out of it, gloss apple red. I've used this paint multiple times on bikes and never had an issue with it. Everything's always went really well with it. Couldn't find it. I was out and just couldn't find it. I looked everywhere, all the big box stores and Walmart and other places like that. Nobody had it. So I picked this stuff up. Still a Rust-Oleum product. So I spray painted the side cases and the tins and everything. Boy, had them looking good. Had them looking really good. And then I ran across a couple cans of this. And I thought, well, you know what? For the second coat, I'm going to put this on there. Mistake. Every piece well, first of all, this stuff went on really heavy. I did get a few runs in it. I say it looked great. I did have a few runs. And it took forever for it to dry. I don't know what that has in it, but I let it set a good 24 hours, and it was still almost tacky to the touch. Well, anyway, I decided to put a second coat with this on, and I either didn't wait, even though I waited 24 hours, that wasn't long enough, or something in the chemicals of this one's drying, they did not interact, and I got orange peel really bad. And let's see, there's a couple places right here where it's actually, like bubbled up. And it did that on all of the tins, the fenders, everything. I sanded them all down and resprayed them, and I got them, like I said, I got them looking, it's a 10-footer, and that's as close as I'm going to get you guys to it. Let's just leave it at that. It's going to be a 10-foot bike. So I still have to work on the side cases and get them this one's getting a little closer. But I still need to work on those. Now, one thing with these side cases, see anything? Yep, 2 right sides. I did not even notice that until earlier today. Today is Monday. What is today? The 28th. So we started this project last Monday, and I pulled out 2 broken covers and we repaired them, and I didn't notice. I'm sure one of you guys noticed it and didn't say a word to me, but they're both the cover for the exact same side, the right side. I have one left side cover, and there it is. It's mostly there. There is a small chunk right here that is missing. But we are going to try and put that back together kind of the same way we did with those, with the Gorilla Glue and the fiber tape. And these actually act like they're pretty strong. So I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. But anyway, so that was my painting issues and where I'm at on that. Throttle and cables, you know, pretty straightforward. They were in decent shape. I covered the brake cable. I've got a carburetor and an air cleaner. The only part I'm still waiting on is the rubber gasket for the gas cap. Chain, the rear brake rod. I got an exhaust from Dr. ATV, $321 for the exhaust. I got new foot peg rubbers. This set was the set that was on the bike, so the left one actually wasn't bad. The right one was missing the rubber completely. Well, I don't want to put a new rubber and have an old rubber one on there. These two were the on this parts bike right here that I have upside down. I just pulled these two off this morning. So I'm going to leave that as a set there because we may build that other bike just as a beater rider. So those will work good for it. And I'm going to take these two pegs and clean them up, paint them, and then we'll slide those rubbers on top of that. The gas tank, I have not painted it. I'm not a body man, I'm not a paint man, but I've been working. I've got the dents out of this side decent. I'm still working on the other side. I got some body filler. I took like a pry bar type thing, and I popped the dent out on this side about as much as I could. And then I've been using some little bit of body filler, and this side's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with this one. Hopefully I can get the other side looks as nice as that one. Then we'll spray paint it all red and put new decals on it. But that's just an update of where we're at. I think today I'm going to spend most of today and tinker with this side case and see if I can't bring that back to life. If not, I may have to get on the internet and start looking for another side case. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that for a while, and then I'll bring you back when we got something else to do on the bike. All right, I'm holding the phone just by my hand, so if it's a little shaky, I apologize. So the first thing I did was just super glued all the pieces. I super glued, there was a crack right here and a crack right there, and I forced some super glue into the edges and held those until they were good and tight. And then there was a chunk here that was broke out. I super glued it in. I believe this whole corner was a chunk that was off. And then I just super glued this whole top edge. You know, just super gluing the edges, okay, just to kind of hold it. So this is the only piece that seems to be missing. The rest of it looks fairly complete. So before I Gorilla Glue the back like I did the other one, I've mixed up some JB Weld, this material here. I've mixed up a little bit of that on this box, and I'm going to try and slather some in there and kind of use it like Bondo and try and build that up. But I can't hold the camera, and I didn't bring my tripod, so sorry. So let me get that kind of brought in there, put in there, and then if it sets up enough, I'll bring you back. All right, so I kind of just stuck some of that in that hole, and I gotta let that set up and then sand it back down. And then if we have to, we'll use a little bit of Bondo to kind of fill in the little pinholes and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, so pretty much done with this for today. I gotta let this all set up, and then we will work on doing the fiber tape and the Gorilla Glue on the back like we did the other one. All right, everybody, so we are now a few more days down the road. As you can see, I have not touched the bike, done anything to it since early when this video started. If you saw my post from a couple days ago, I got sidetracked on a project and had to take a few days away from this, but we've got paint, and I think I've got all the pieces. I got the gasket for the gas cap. I think I've got all the pieces that we need to finish up this bike. And I believe I'm just going to let the camera roll for the rest of this. I didn't film a lot of the work I did early on, but I think from this point on, I'm just going to let the camera roll and let you guys kind of follow along as we assemble this. Paint was a major pain in the ass. You know, this was one of the first side cases that we repaired, and I you know, had the problem with the orange peel. I've still got it in a couple spots. The rest of it, I got pretty shiny, got pretty smooth. This corner here, there might be a little bit. But man, I tell you what, I worked and I worked and I worked, and I got it to the best that I could, and I'm just done with it, to be quite honest with you. This is the other one that was all broke apart, and you know, it's fairly smooth. You can see lines where, you know, like right there in that glare, see the line where the piece was. I didn't get it sanded down quite good enough to hide the seam where the piece got put back together, but no orange peel whatsoever on that one, and I only used that other paint, the paint that I talked about that I really like, the 2X. Same way with the tank. Didn't have any issues. I did not use that first Rust-Oleum paint on it. I only used the 2X. No issues at all. And you know, I got most of the dents out. It doesn't, you know, if you look real close, you might find something, but you know what? I'm pretty happy with it. So all the paint's done. So got the decals that we'll need to put on, and then still all the same parts laying here. But anyway, so like I said, I think I'm just going to let it roll, and we'll get set up and start throwing all those pieces on this bike. I think the first thing we'll tackle is getting a chain put on it. I'm going to go ahead and take this side case off. Make it a little easier access and trying to fish that chain around there. Let's see, that's 8mm. All right, now see if we can get it on there without scratching up the frame too bad. Let's see, how do I want to attempt this? No, that's not the right way to go. Let's lay it on the back side of the sprocket. There we go. Maybe that would be a little better. Hopefully it's in neutral. Being neutral, it is good. Should be the right length of chain. Oh yeah, we got plenty of adjustment. I can't see it. I'm gonna have to get in your way, sorry. Let me come around to this side. Okay, put your clip so that the closed end is the leading edge. I should have grabbed a little screwdriver. Hang on a second. There we go. Sorry, I keep walking in front of you. I got the camera set up in the wrong spot. Uh-oh. I need a deeper well socket. You know what? I'll just get a wrench here. All right, so I'm just going to adjust that and get the both sides, get the wheels squared, and get the axle tightened down. And then when I bring you back, we'll be on the other side and we'll put the brake rod on. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that snugged up. I'll go ahead and put the cover back on because I think we're done on this side. You know what? We can put the chain guard. The chain guard on these fits around the swing arm bolt. Oh, I need a mallet. Need a mallet. Sorry, don't have all my tools out. You guys are watching me walk back and forth more than anything. Okay. These are a tricky little rascal too. Okay, now, so it's gonna go something like that, but I need to push that back through. I can't see it. Did it come through the hole? It did. Alright, so I need to find a couple bolts to put in there. So now, oh, I didn't scratch the fender, did I? Nope, just a little piece of dirt. We're good. Awesome. Alright, so I will finish buttoning this up, put the side case back on. Oh yeah, side case. I did modify this before. Kind of shaped that so it did fit. You won't get this on with this cover without modifying this opening just a little bit. So awesome. All right, bring you back when we're on the other side. All right, we're pretty much wrapped up on this side, but before I decided to move you over, I thought we would do one more piece over here. I don't think I have to take it off again. Hope I don't anyway. I think this is the one that was, yeah, this was the one that was all broke up. Didn't turn out too bad. And we still got sticker to put on it, but all right, now we're gonna move to the other side. All right, so we got the brake rod. Let me get it taken apart here. Spring is caught. Holy cow. All right, here we go. All right. Put the barrel in the brake. Can't hook that yet. Gotta put this in first, and then hook up here where the brake pedal's at. Put our adjuster nut on. There we go. Starting to tie it in. All right, I got to get a, I forgot to get a washer and a cotter pin. I forgot to get the washer and cotter pin that go on here. So let me go grab one of those. Okay, while we're on this side of the bike, now we got the brake all set up. I'm going to put the exhaust on. Before I put the exhaust on, before I forget, now that I've got the chain and everything all dialed in, I'm going to make sure we tighten up our brake stay. Okay, now I bought this exhaust from Dr. ATV or Beatrice Cycle, whatever you want to call them. It was $321 shipped to me. It did not come with collars, so I put collars on it, and then to hold them in place, because it's so hard to do that, I just take a transparent tape. I call it Scotch tape. I know Scotch is the brand. Like you put on wrapping paper, just a real thin tape. I tape the two halves around. The tape will burn off in pretty short time. Oh, I forgot the gasket. But it holds them on there without having to try and do that while you're putting a gasket and all those other good things up in there. Get in there. Come on. There we go. All right, so we got those started. Now, the one problem with installing a different engine than stock, the 125 is a little bit longer. So now our rear mount doesn't line up. I typically just take a piece of aluminum and put on here. Give me just a second. Let me get some hardware to hold it on there and just make a little, I just make a little spacer. Come on. My fingers aren't working with me today. You know what, and I think I just put it on the wrong side. I think I did. I think I actually want the aluminum, I want to push the exhaust in as far as I can so that the Kickstarter doesn't come down and kick it. Hang on a second. Yeah, I did. I was thinking, why did I have such a big washer there? And now I've dropped the nut. Oh no, it fell in. It fell into the, behind the guard. Oh my gosh. There it is. All right, let's try all this again. I meant to go this way, then that. Then the nut, and then I've got a bolt for here. All right, and that lets me push the exhaust in a little farther, and I put it upside down. I'm struggling. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shut you guys down. I'm gonna take that back off, flip that over, because I think I had it made to where the radius of this matched that. So it flowed a little bit better. So I'm gonna take that back off, flip it over, and and reinstall that. But that's what you have to do if you use a bigger engine. You gotta, unless you want to cut the bracket off and re-weld it, which I didn't want to do that to this exhaust. And I put the muffler bracket behind the piece, although I don't like seeing it. If it was pushed out a little bit farther this way, the Kickstarter would actually hit or come close to hitting to the shield, where now we've got, better than a 1/2 inch, because we've pushed it in. So, all right, won't bore you with it again, but I'm gonna take that back off, take that piece of aluminum and flip it over. All right, so I finally got the exhaust all buttoned up, and just like the other side, I don't see any reason why I couldn't put this on here. So there's that. Okay, I think we will grab the carburetor and let's get this finished up, and then we'll move up to the handlebars, take a look at that stuff. Carburetor's pretty straightforward and simple. These engines typically come with some kind of cover over the intake opening here. Make sure you take that off before you try and bolt anything down to it. The engine should come with a gasket. And the sticky stuff off of the covering actually helps hold it in place. I went ahead and just bolted the intake to the carb. Okay. And this is just an Amazon carburetor. I looked on the box. The box didn't have the information on it. I think it's a 24 millimeter carb. I'll try and remember to add a link in the description of this video to this carburetor, especially after we get it started. If we like it. The carburetor comes with a filter. It's not the typical pod type filter. It's one of these. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that down a little bit before I put it on there. It's got so much slop in it now. Well, maybe I won't. They give you a filter, but does it fit on there? Maybe I went too tight. Huh. Now I understand why the clamp had so much slop in it. I think I still got to loosen it up more. I'm going to pull the outside cover off of that thing, just ease of handling it. Come on. Some days just are not, you know, you guys have good days and bad days. Some days are just not my day. That should not be that hard to put a filter on there. I think they sent a filter that's just a or cleaner or air cleaner, whatever you want to call this damn thing. Come on, get on there. Well, son of a gun. All right, well, I'm going to struggle with that. Maybe get a little WD-40 or something and kind of lubricate it up. Let me see if I can get it put on there. Well, after a ridiculous amount of time of fiddling with that, I finally did get it on there. Actually, kind of like the way that looks better than the pod filters I've been using with the big chrome thing on them anyway. So, yeah, like I said, I'll add a link to that carburetor, and it came with that air cleaner and everything with it. So, all right, let's move up to the handlebars and start putting the, go ahead and finish out, put the throttle and get the cables put on it. For the throttle setup, I'm going with the same one I typically use. It's an Amazon, I can't remember, $12 or $15. Give me just a second. Get it taken apart here. All right. There's a locating pin on here that keeps it, the whole throttle assembly from twisting. I had to drill a new hole in the top of the handlebars. There was a hole up here for the original stock setup. The hole right here, that's from the original stock setup. I had to drill a small hole there because the throttle setup I'm using, I think is this whole thing is a little narrower. The stock one had, what all did it have on it? Did that had the headlight on off switch or something, or high low switch? I can't remember exactly what it had, but what I'm using didn't fit anyway, so we had to. All right. I've got the dropsies or something here. All right, there we go. Sorry if it's a little noisy in here. My heat's running. It's a little cool in central Indiana today. Low 30s or something like that. We saw like a 75-degree day. Good old Indiana. All right. This is the kill button wire, and I did have to change the plug here to match the plug on the wiring harness. And I just pulled the wire out of the tag on it. So I got to pull that back apart. Pull the wire out of the little clip thing inside there. So let me fix that. And then I'll have to get a few more zip ties or cut these loose and re-zip tie it and zip tie that down that backbone. Got my wiring issues fixed there. We'll go ahead and put the cap and the slide on the carburetor. Okay. Oh yeah, works well, snappy. Well, I was going to set the tank on it, but you know what? We need to put the petcock in the tank first. We're not going to put the tank on it yet. Let's grab some cables here. You know what I need? I need the adjusters that go on the cables. So we're not quite ready for that either. I am so not used to working on one of these bikes. And those need to be cleaned up. So we're going to go do that first before we put those old rusty, nasty looking things on there. All right, so I've got all the cables put on the front brake one. Front brake cable, I did not use the adjuster. This cable is for a CT70, not an SL70. The SL70, the front brake switch fit in that hole right there. Oh, I'm not focusing. And there's a little pin that went in and out when you pulled the lever, and that tripped the brake switch. I didn't have that. This bike had this cable on it. I probably put that on there 15 years ago when I built this. It works, but because it's not the right cable for this bike, it doesn't have enough length to use an adjuster there. The cable does have, I can't really show it. There's a little step down, come on, inside there. Anyway, so it fits in there. It won't come out. So I feel good about that. I did use the better looking adjuster over here on the clutch. So we've got that. I think I'm ready to put the tank on it. Put the tank and the seat on it so we can kind of see a complete bike. But before we put the tank on it, and we're not gonna worry about the decals. I'm gonna let the paint still harden over a few days. So I'm not gonna put the decals on it quite yet. But we do need to put a new petcock in the bottom of the tank. I put tape over the holes so we wouldn't get paint in there. New petcock. Now you got to take the bowl off of it. And I didn't grab needle nose pliers, and I'm going to need needle nose pliers to probably pull that pull the filter out of there. Hang on just one second. There's a little screen filter in there. You pull that out and you drop the screw that bolts the thing down inside. Easier said than done. Get in there. Huh. Come on. Oh, okay, I got it. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. Little O-ring they had, or a little washer they had in there that I had to remove to get the screw out. And then you put this assembly back together. O-ring. You don't put that back on yet. You got to put it on and screw the petcock down. There's a little washer. I don't even know if you're in screen. Are you seeing what I'm? All right, there's a little gasket there that you, little O-ring. Hold it back out. Now you can put this thing in there. All right, not gonna crank on it too tight. Okay, now I think we're ready to put that on the bike. Just making sure it's fitting around the little bumper pieces, and then there's a little rubber holder. You got to pull it up, put the tank under it. Well, we have a problem. After all that effort of fighting to get that air cleaner on there, I can't use it. It's right in the way. So we're gonna have to pull that air cleaner back off of there and go with a little pod filter or do something different, because we can't put a fuel line on that. I'm gonna have to back up and punt on air cleaners or something. Even this pod filter won't quite fit on there because it hits the outlet on the petcock. So I'm gonna have to just think about that. We're gonna have to build some kind of extension and get it out here just a little bit farther so that we can clear that. So we're gonna move on for today. That's another day's project. So let's get the seat on it. See how that fits, see if we're gonna have any troubles with anything that we've done so far with the seat. The seat fits, there's two little loops here that fit underneath clips on the frame to hold it down in the front. And then the shocks, it just loops around the shock post here. Okay. The other thing that we needed to do was put the gasket on the fuel cap. Well, at least it looks like a bike again. I think the next thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to put the decals on it yet because I want the paint just to harden a few more days before I put the decals on. But I found, what did I do with it? Here it is. I found a speedometer in my stash of parts, and I believe it's off a CL70, and I don't know, like that one. I believe it's the one beside the red bike right there. I think it'll fit. It fits right on top there. It's a 60-mile-an-hour speedometer. It's got a neutral indicator. Well, I got too many glares on the damn. It's got a neutral indicator light. It's got a high beam light, and then it actually has a winker light, which we don't have turn signals on this, so we won't use it. But I think I'm going to take that apart, clean that up, pull that gray sheathing off of that, and shrink tube some black so it matches the rest of the black cables. I think we're going to put that on there. And I've got a black speedometer cable. I don't know, this has 16-inch tires and that has 17-inch tires. So if we go smaller tire, would it read faster? It might read slightly faster than what we're actually going. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, but we're going to put it on there just to give it a little bit more of a finished look. So I'm going to strip this down, clean, probably paint this, the silver, just like everything else is kind of up there, and then we'll put it on. While the paint was drying on the bracket, I went ahead and pulled the sockets here. These just pull out of there. They're just a little plug. Just pull them out, all 4 of them. And I replaced the bulbs. This would have been originally 6-volt. I replaced them with some 1445s, which are the 12-volt version of the bulb. Let's see, how does that go now? Is that the way it goes? Hang on a second. I got to put it up on the bike and refresh my memory on how that bracket went. Yeah, that would be the way it goes, but I think my wiring... Oh. All right, let's see if we can put it on the bike. Put a speedometer cable on it. I went ahead and pulled these. These have an O-ring that seals the top of those forks. I'm hoping that by adding the thickness of this bracket, we're not messing something up there. Yeah, get in there. Almost acts like it's too big to go in the hole. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna do a little work here. The this end, I don't know if there's some crud inside the hole where it goes in. It seemed a little too tight. Didn't want to go in freely, so I'm gonna inspect that. I've used these cables on these hubs before, so I know it's not the cable. So, all right, let me get down there with a little pick and see if I can get any crap out of there and get that to go in easier. All right, everybody, today is the day. It is Tuesday, April 5th. So we started this project, 2 weeks ago on a Monday. So this is day 15 of this project. And we are going to install some decals. As you can tell, I'm using some Exact Science here. Good enough? That's the easy one. These are some pretty old decals. I've had this set for, well, I shouldn't say old. I've had them for a few years, 3 or 4 years. Can't even get it separated. Started to go. Let me see if I can. I'm trying to peel the back paper off of it, is what I'm trying to do. If you've never done this before. Boy, I tell you, the older I get, the worse my eyesight gets too. There we go. All right. So I'm going to peel the back off, which is going to leave the decal on the clear side. Oh, don't peel the paint off with it. It's a little low. I didn't like it that low. That's a little better. We're gonna go with it. Yeah, I think I might have got a wrinkle right there. I don't want that. Oh, that's what I was worried about, the decal. This is so old that it's wanting to stick to this top paper. That ain't good. Well, the bottom piece didn't stick, but the pinstripe did. Come on, let go of it. All right, it let go. Finally let go, but it's not, I gotta. There we go. It's not looking too bad. Yeah, I've got a spot right there that I don't like on the upper pinstripe. Let me see if I can release the other portions and pull that back off. There we go. That didn't look bad. Doing this on curved pieces is not fun. And I'm sure somebody out there will give me crap about how I did it, but that's all right. It'll be fine. close right there. Sorry, I'm not very chatty. I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing. It's not perfect right there, but you know what? It's just no beater bike. Got a couple air bubbles. Trying to eliminate those. Where this decal goes down inside that recessed area. Definitely don't follow my lead here. I have no idea what I'm doing. There again, from 10 feet away, I think it'll look just fine. Got one last one here on this side. All right, give me a minute and I'm gonna do the other side. That's too stressful to have you guys watch me do that. Oh, I don't want to do that again. I'll be back in just a second. We'll get the other decals and then we'll put some gas in it. Well, there's the second side, and it looks about as good as the other side did. Not perfect. That top pinstripe and that little bend right there, I didn't have real good luck with that. Just a little bit of a wrinkle right there. Get out of there, wrinkle. The other side, I don't see any. It looks pretty good. So, we're gonna put gas in it and see if it'll start. We're not gonna take it for a ride. I've said this in other videos. I'm not kidding you, man. I think it rains. I think it rains every time the day I finish up a bike. So, random shop pick and all my junk. All right, I'm gonna set you down tripod here. I gotta get a funnel and get some fuel, and let's put some fuel in it and let's see if this thing will start and run. Try not to pour gas all over the pretty paint. I haven't put any clear on it I was waiting to get the decals on it. Plan was to take it back apart. All right, stop. Don't dribble. Well, petcock's not leaking. Let's see if we turn it on, if we get anything. Yep, we got fuel running to it. Give the carburetor a second to fill up. We'll roll you guys back here and okay. Oh boy, we got fuel coming out of the carburetor. Must have a stuck float or something. Piece of crap in the needle seat. We got something going on. Now let's see if it'll fire up first. Well, we're gonna probably have to take that carburetor off there. See what's going on. Ah, not on my frame paint. Yeah, it'll probably be all right. Okay. Think we need choke? We'll give it to choke. Hopefully it'll start within a couple kicks. No compression because my clutch must be out of adjustment. I have got everything, I think, adjusted as far as I can adjust it. I think that clutch cable has got that pulled. I may have to change the adjuster here. It may have it pulled out too far. Let me try it again. Yeah, I'm not kicking the engine over. It thinks it's got the clutch pulled. Turn the gas back off. All right, give me just a second. I gotta pull that cable adjuster and go with another one, something that's not quite as thick. Here's what I got. This was the cable adjuster I had, and it's got this extra locking piece on here. We're going to take that off and see if just by moving it in that thickness, if that gets us where we need to be. All right, let's try it again. There we go. Turn choke off. Might not need choke. Uh-oh. Huh. It started to go. Well, bummer. Guess we'll have to check and see if we got, make sure we got spark. Maybe I messed something up with the wiring harness. Went ahead and grabbed a new plug. I can't believe we would have dropped enough fuel in there to foul out that plug, but we'll see here. Let's key on. Of course, can't see it because it's moving. I'm not seeing any spark. No. Well, bummer. We're gonna have to go back up on the operating table and see what's going on. No. That kill button's not stuck or something, is it? All right, guys, we got to put her back up on the table. Well, got to pull the seat and a side case here and see what's going on. I think I'll first start by unplugging that kill switch up there. Let's try that first. Let's unplug that kill switch. No. Not seeing anything. That's odd. Make sure our coil is plugged in. Make sure I didn't. Coil's plugged in. I'm going to grab another coil real quickly and let's try that. This, I used the coil that was on there that was already mounted to this frame. So I don't know, you know, like I said, I built this bike years ago. I don't remember that it wasn't running when I Took the engine out of it. Nope, that's not it. Plug our other one back in. Let's, I had it nicely zip tied in there, but let's cut the CDI loose. And let's swap the CDI, see if that. See if that makes a difference. Oh, wait a minute, I think there I saw it. I'm gonna have to shut the light off. Hang on just a second. Yep, now we got spark. Huh, so I can't remember if that was the CDI that was on this bike too. Probably was. Don't see those go off bad very often. Alright, I'm just going to tuck that in there for right now. I'll come back once I've got it running. Just kind of tuck it in the battery box for right now. Let's see. I'm going to plug back in this kill switch. I don't think that was our problem. Okay. Ignore all that first time trying it. Let's try it again. Well, our carburetor doesn't seem to be tapping on it. Must have unstuck the float or something. It doesn't seem to be overflowing anymore. Let's see, you guys probably aren't looking over here. Hang on just a second. All right, here we go, fellas. It's on. Key is on. I'm not going to give it any choke. I don't like this carburetor. This is the first time I tried that carb. I don't know that I like it. All right, I got to go back up onto the table, and we've got to diagnose a couple things. Why my headlight didn't come on, and I don't know that I had brake lights either. So. All right, back under the knife. All right, so I changed the carburetor. I went back to the same carb I've been using on the last few builds that has worked great. So we'll see if that makes a difference with our run issues. I pulled the headlight off, and I still had the 6-volt bulb in there. It's becoming a habit now. I'm forgetting to change the 12-volt bulb, so I haven't gone back and looked at the film. So did that headlight flash and then burn out? I don't know yet. Well, let's see if it'll start this time. No, still no headlight. Huh. Still got the same run issues with the other car. Got me stumped. Blown out the neutral indicator light. I'm going to have to go back and watch the video. I wonder if my voltage regulator is not working. Am I blowing that headlight as soon as I start it? I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, I don't have a tail light either. I have a voltage regulator problem. think I'm gonna wrap it up there. This video is probably really long. I'll roll it into where we can get a better view. I'm gonna do a walk around, and there probably will be one more video on this after I get all the electrical worked out. I got some kind of issue, voltage regulator or something I'm going to have to swap out, because like I said, I know we blew the neutral indicator bulb, and we had a tail light to begin with, and I don't think we've got anything now. So. All right, guys, here's where I'm at on this. I have put 2 different wiring harnesses, key switches, CDIs, voltage regulators, everything I can switch, and I'm still having the same electrical issues. I am down to, I believe that stator plate, the lighting coil on that stator is no good, or something has got a short in it. So we're going to have another video on this bike. You're going to leave off with it taken apart here the way you see it. And we're going to order a stator for this engine, and we'll come back and do video number 3 and hopefully have this thing wrapped up. Guys, everybody have a great day. Sorry for a really, really long video. Some of you guys like the long ones. Here you go. Thanks.